Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not the absence of action. Silence is power. Think for a moment, when was the last time you stayed truly silent? Not just with your mouth, but with your mind, your emotions, and your heart. Most people cannot. Because the world we live in today glorifies noise, constant chatter, endless opinions, loud declarations, and showing off every single move before it even happens. But here is the truth: the greatest strength, the deepest wisdom, and the highest success do not come from noise. They come from silence. Look at history. The people who changed the world the most did not announce their plans at every step. They did not beg for approval or share every dream they had. They built, they worked, they sacrificed silently. And when their work was ready, when their time had come, the world had no choice but to notice. This is why you must learn the art of being silent. If you can master it, you will unlock a secret force within yourself, a force that will pull everything you desire in life closer to you. Silence protects your energy in a way most people underestimate. Every time you open your mouth to share your plans, your struggles, or your ambitions, you release a part of your power into the world. That power, once spoken, is no longer solely yours. It becomes subject to interpretation, judgment, and reaction. People begin to comment, criticize, doubt, or sometimes even secretly hope for your failure. What once burned brightly within you now flickers because you allowed others to touch it with their words and opinions. When you are silent, however, you guard that flame. You let it grow stronger in the privacy of your own discipline and determination. Energy is not infinite. The human mind and spirit can only handle so much in a day before fatigue sets in. When you waste that limited supply by constantly explaining yourself, debating your decisions, or seeking approval, you deplete what you could have invested in your actions. Silence is not about weakness or avoidance, it is about preservation. You keep your energy locked in, stored for the moments when it truly matters. Think of a battery. If you leave it exposed to unnecessary usage, it drains quickly and fails when you need it most. But if you conserve it wisely, it has the strength to power something important. Your mind, your will, your drive, they are the same. Every unnecessary conversation drains you a little more. Silence, therefore, is a strategy to preserve the force that moves you forward. Another truth is that not everyone around you is capable of handling your vision. Some people, even unintentionally, will discourage you because they cannot see the possibilities that you see. They are limited by their own fears, failures, and doubts. When you speak to them about your plans, you hand over your energy to be filtered through their narrow lens. Their doubt becomes your doubt, and their disbelief weakens your confidence. By remaining silent, you keep your vision pure. It stays untouched, free from contamination, alive only in the space of your heart and mind where it belongs until it is ready to manifest. This is not secrecy out of fear, it is silence out of strength. Energy is also stolen by envy. The moment you tell someone about the great thing you are building, you trigger jealousy in those who do not want to see you rise. They may smile in front of you, but secretly wish for your failure. Envy has a way of attacking silently. It may come in the form of gossip, discouragement, or subtle sabotage. The easiest way to avoid this invisible theft is to keep quiet. When there is nothing to envy, there is nothing to attack. When no one knows your moves, they cannot block your path. Silence becomes your shield, an armor that protects the precious force within you from outside interference. There is also a psychological effect to silence that works in your favor. When you hold your energy close, people wonder about you. They speculate, they question, they imagine. Ironically, this makes your energy seem larger and more powerful than it actually is. A person who talks endlessly is predictable and easy to measure, but a silent person is mysterious, and mystery always multiplies perception. By not spending your energy on constant speech, you appear stronger and more composed, and that perception itself becomes an additional layer of power. In life, you will always face temptations to speak, to explain, to justify. But remember that silence is not a lack of expression, it is a wise redirection. It is choosing not to leak your inner fire through words, but to let it grow stronger through action. Your energy is the currency with which you build your life. Waste it in noise, and you will run out before you arrive. Protect it in silence, and it will carry you to everything you desire. Silence builds focus and discipline because it removes distractions and creates a space where your energy is directed toward what truly matters. When you are silent, you are no longer pulled in different directions by unnecessary conversations, arguments, or the need to explain yourself to others. You conserve mental bandwidth that would have been wasted on noise and instead channel it into your work, your growth, and your purpose. Silence acts like a shield against interruptions, protecting the mind from scattering its attention. The modern world thrives on distraction, constant notifications, endless chatter, and the pressure to always respond. But in silence, you step out of that chaos and into clarity. Focus is born when the mind is not being dragged around by noise. In that quiet space, you are able to see what needs to be done, prioritize your efforts, and push forward with intensity. Discipline is also deeply connected to silence because discipline requires self-control, and self-control thrives in stillness. When you are silent, you learn to resist the urge to speak unnecessarily, to react impulsively, or to seek validation. That same resistance strengthens your ability to say no to temptations, to stick to routines, and to endure discomfort in pursuit of long-term goals. Silence becomes a training ground for discipline. Just as a muscle grows through resistance, your inner strength grows when you choose silence over impulse. Every time you hold back from reacting, every time you choose to keep quiet rather than waste words, you are exercising discipline. This internal practice spills over into your habits, your work ethic, and your life decisions. Think of a warrior preparing for battle. He does not waste time shouting about how great he will be. He trains in silence, repeating movements, sharpening his weapon, and mastering his craft. His silence is not emptiness, it is preparation. The discipline of daily practice, done quietly and consistently, is what transforms him into someone unstoppable. That is exactly how silence builds focus and discipline in your life. It creates an environment where consistency thrives, where the noise of excuses is muted, and where action speaks louder than anything else. Focus is often lost not because people lack intelligence, but because they lack silence. They let external voices drown out their inner direction. They share their goals too quickly and are thrown off balance when others question them. They allow criticism, opinions, or gossip to cloud their mind. But in silence, you cut through the fog. You hear your own inner voice more clearly. You reconnect with your purpose without interference. That pure clarity allows you to give all your attention to what matters most, and that attention is the foundation of mastery. Whatever you give silence to, you give power to. Discipline also flourishes when you stop announcing your efforts. Too often, people get addicted to telling others about their progress. The moment they speak, they feel a false sense of accomplishment, as if talking about work is the same as doing it. But silence removes that illusion. If you do not talk about it, you are left with only one option to actually do it. That is why silent workers are the most disciplined. They have no outlet for empty validation, so the only satisfaction they receive comes from genuine progress. Silence is also where you learn patience, and patience is the backbone of discipline. In silence, you accept that results take time, that growth cannot be rushed, and that endurance matters more than speed. It keeps you grounded when distractions try to pull you away from the path. It builds a mental toughness that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks or outside noise. Over time, that calm and focused persistence becomes unbreakable discipline, the kind of discipline that leads to greatness. When you speak less and embrace silence, you naturally begin to observe more, and this observation becomes one of the greatest tools you can possess in life. Most people are so busy trying to be heard, trying to prove themselves, or trying to dominate conversations that they miss the small but powerful details happening around them. They focus on expressing rather than absorbing, and in doing so, they lose access to the information that could give them an advantage. Silence turns you into a listener, and listening sharpens your perception. The quieter you become, the more you notice. You begin to see the expressions on people's faces that reveal what their words try to hide. You catch the tone in their voice that exposes their true intentions, and you recognize the subtle signals in situations that others are too distracted to acknowledge. Observation is power because it arms you with knowledge, and knowledge allows you to make better decisions. A person who listens more learns more, and a person who learns more can outmaneuver those who speak recklessly. Think of a room full of people where everyone is eager to share their opinions. The one who sits silently, watching and listening, absorbs everything, what others believe, where their weaknesses lie, and how the dynamics shift. By the time that silent person speaks or acts, they do so with precision because their move is informed by what they observed, not by impulse. In contrast, those who talk too much revealed themselves completely, making it easier for others to anticipate and counter them. Silence is a form of invisibility, and invisibility allows you to move undetected. In this hidden state, you become a student of people, situations, and environments. You start noticing patterns, how someone reacts under pressure, how certain opportunities present themselves, how situations evolve over time. This awareness is priceless, and it only comes to those who have mastered the art of observing more than they speak. The world is always giving away clues, but only the silent and attentive can see them. Another advantage of silence is that it prevents you from exposing your own weaknesses. When you talk too much, you reveal what you know and also what you do not know. People can measure your confidence, your insecurities, and your blind spots by the way you express yourself. But when you hold your tongue, you give them nothing to work with. Instead, you remain unpredictable, and unpredictability keeps you strong. While you remain silent, you continue to gather knowledge about others while they gain nothing about you. This imbalance of information works in your favor and allows you to stay ahead. Observation also builds emotional intelligence. When you stop focusing on what you want to say, instead pay attention to others, you start understanding how they feel, what motivates them, and how they think. This skill is invaluable in relationships, leadership, and negotiations. People trust and respect those who understand them, and the best way to understand others is not by talking, but by listening deeply. Through silence, you begin to see beyond words into the reality of human behavior. Even in competition, silence and observation provide a decisive edge. A skilled chess player does not chatter during a match. They sit in silence, watching every move, predicting future outcomes, and calculating the right response. Their silence is not empty, it is filled with attention and strategy. In life, the same principle applies. Those who observe silently know the battlefield better than those who cannot stop announcing their plans. By speaking less, you become more aware of opportunities that others overlook. While they are busy making noise, you notice the quiet openings that lead to success. While they are distracted by their own voices, you are focused on the details that matter. In the long run, this habit of observing more than speaking allows you to build wisdom, make sharper choices, and always stay one step ahead. Your dreams do not need an audience, they need action, and this truth is often forgotten in a world that glorifies constant sharing. People feel an urge to announce every plan they have, to talk about what they are going to achieve, and to seek applause even before they take the first step. The problem with this is that words create an illusion of progress. When you talk about your dream, your mind feels a temporary satisfaction as if you have already achieved something, and that false feeling can make you lazy. You start to feel proud of announcing instead of being proud of accomplishing. Dreams are fragile in their early stages, and if you expose them too soon, you risk letting the wrong people step on them. By keeping your dreams silent, you protect them. You give them the privacy and the space they need to grow without interference. Think of a seed planted in the ground. If you dig it up every day to show people, it will never grow. The seed needs darkness, silence, and time before it can break through the soil. Your dreams are no different. They must be buried within you, nurtured with effort, watered with discipline, and given sunlight through patience. Talking too much about them is like digging them up repeatedly, destroying their chance of becoming something real. The tree that people admire later does not announce itself while growing, it simply rises silently until it is undeniable. In the same way, your results will speak louder than any words could. There is also the danger of negativity when you share too much. Not everyone will support your vision. Some people will laugh at it, some will discourage you, and some may even steal your ideas. Every time you share your dream, you invite outside energy into it, energy that may not always be pure. Doubtful words can plant seeds of fear in your mind, envy can bring obstacles your way, and careless advice can lead you astray. Silence eliminates these risks because no one can damage what they do not know. By keeping your dream private, you allow it to grow in its own strength without external interference. Another reason your dreams do not need an audience is that success requires consistent action, not validation. Validation is temporary, it lasts for moments and then disappears, leaving you empty and chasing it again. But action builds something permanent. Every day you choose to work in silence, you are laying bricks of progress that eventually form a strong foundation. People may not notice your effort at first, but when the results arrive, they cannot be ignored. The applause that comes after success is genuine, while the applause you chase before success is hollow. Silence also teaches humility, and humility is crucial for long-term achievement. Talking too much about your dreams can feed your ego, and ego is a dangerous distraction. Ego makes you careless, makes you underestimate challenges, and blinds you to the need for improvement. But when you stay quiet about your ambitions, you remain grounded. You remind yourself that there is still work to be done, that your dream is not yet complete, and that results are the only proof that matters. This humility keeps you disciplined and hungry. The most powerful dreams are the ones that surprise people. They look at you one day and realize you have transformed, built, and achieved without them even noticing. That shock creates respect because people understand you did not waste time talking, you spent your time doing. Your silence becomes your strategy, your discipline becomes your voice, and your results become your speech. When you let your actions reveal your dreams instead of your words, you create an impact that no amount of early announcements could ever achieve. Silence is a weapon against others because it creates uncertainty, mystery, and fear in the minds of those around you. When you speak less, people are left to wonder what you are thinking, what you are planning, and what you are capable of. Their imagination begins to work overtime, often making you appear stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than you really are. The unknown is always more intimidating than the known, and silence ensures that you remain unpredictable. The moment you talk too much, you reveal yourself. You show your intentions, your strengths, your weaknesses, and even your emotions. But when you are silent, others are left in the dark, and that darkness becomes your advantage. Human nature fears what it cannot control or understand. When people cannot read you, they become cautious around you. They hesitate to make moves against you because they are unsure how you might respond. This hesitation gives you power because in their doubt you gain space to act freely. Silence creates an aura of strength even if you have not revealed anything yet. It is the same reason why a calm and quiet person in a room often feels more powerful than the loudest one. The quiet person holds back their thoughts, and everyone else feels the weight of not knowing. That weight becomes a weapon. In conflict or confrontation, silence is even more powerful. The one who reacts quickly with anger or defensiveness exposes vulnerability. But the one who remains silent maintains control. Your opponent may try to provoke you, but silence denies them the satisfaction of knowing they got to you. It frustrates them, weakens their confidence, and causes them to reveal more of themselves in the process. The less you speak, the more others feel the need to fill the silence with their own words, often exposing information you can use. By saying nothing, you end up learning more than the person who cannot stop talking. Silence also prevents you from giving enemies weapons against you. Every word you speak can be twisted, misunderstood, or used against you. The less you provide, the less material others have to attack you with. Silence is like armor. It makes you harder to target. In a world where people are quick to judge and quicker to spread negativity, silence shields you from unnecessary battles. No one can fight a war with someone who does not give them anything to fight with. Another way silence becomes a weapon is through its ability to create respect. People tend to value the opinions of those who speak rarely but wisely. If you are always talking, your words lose weight. But if you remain silent most of the time and only speak when necessary, people listen with more attention when you finally do. Silence adds gravity to your presence. It makes others wait, anticipate, and respect what you might say. That anticipation itself is a form of power, and power used wisely becomes influence. In competition, silence makes you unpredictable. If your rivals know your every move, they can prepare against you. But if you remain quiet, they are forced to guess, and guessing always leads to mistakes. You hold the upper hand when others cannot calculate your next step. Your silence becomes their confusion, and their confusion becomes your victory. Even in relationships and daily life, silence works as a tool of strength. Not every insult deserves a response, not every question needs an answer, and not every situation requires you to explain yourself. The ability to stay quiet when everyone else expects noise leaves an impression that is impossible to ignore. Inner silence creates true strength because the greatest battles are not the ones fought outside but the ones fought within. The human mind is constantly filled with noise, doubts, fears, insecurities, regrets, and endless thoughts that distract from progress. Most people spend their lives being controlled by this inner noise, unable to focus, unable to feel peace, and unable to move forward with clarity. But when you learn to quiet your inner world, you gain mastery over yourself, and that mastery is the root of all power. Silence within allows you to control emotions instead of being controlled by them. It gives you the strength to respond with wisdom instead of reacting with impulse. A person who cannot control their thoughts is like a ship without a captain, tossed around by every wave of circumstance. Every insult, every challenge, every setback shakes them because they have no anchor. But inner silence creates that anchor. It allows you to stand steady when storms rage around you. When your mind is silent, you do not panic when others panic, you do not lose hope when others despair, and you do not give up when others surrender. The quiet mind is unshakable, and that unshakable nature is the definition of strength. Inner silence is not about ignoring problems, but about facing them with clarity. When the mind is noisy, even small issues seem overwhelming because thoughts amplify fear. But when the mind is silent, problems are seen for what they are, challenges to be solved, lessons to be learned, and steps to be taken. You begin to act from a place of reason instead of a place of chaos. That calm approach gives you an advantage because while others waste energy worrying, you preserve energy for solutions. Silence transforms fear into understanding and frustration into patience. Discipline also grows out of inner silence. A restless mind craves distraction, avoids responsibility, and looks for shortcuts. But a silent mind can stay focused on the long-term goal without being lured away by temptation. It can say no when it needs to, endure discomfort when it must, and remain committed when others lose interest. This ability to control impulses is the foundation of true power, and it only comes from mastering the inner dialogue. Silence within you is like a guard that stops negative thoughts from weakening your resolve. Peace is another gift of inner silence, and peace itself is strength. People often believe that strength is loud, aggressive, and forceful, but real strength is calm. The person who is at peace cannot be manipulated easily, cannot be provoked without reason, and cannot be broken by pressure. Inner silence brings this peace, a state where nothing external can disturb the balance within. It is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of control. When you reach this state, you realize that the world outside will never be fully calm, but the world inside can be. Even creativity and wisdom are born from inner silence. When the mind is always busy, it cannot connect deeply, cannot imagine freely, and cannot create solutions. But in silence, space is created for new ideas, deeper understanding, and sharper vision. This is why the most brilliant thoughts often come during moments of stillness. Great leaders, thinkers, and creators throughout history have valued silence because they knew that a quiet mind is a powerful mind. In the end, the measure of strength is not how much noise you can make in the world, but how deeply you can master yourself. If you can silence your fears, calm your doubts, and quiet the endless voices in your head, you become unstoppable. True power does not come from conquering others, it comes from conquering yourself, and that conquest is only possible through inner silence.